sorry to say, but this game really pissed me off. I don't even know why I'm doing commentary and uploading it. Well, I guess there's something to learn from it, but yeah, I guess that's what happens when I take this game a little too seriously. This is a rather semi-competitive game, a match between my Andromeda versus his Hasbioroid. I am playing Stealth Andromeda. You might have seen this deck list floating around somewhere on the net. I did indeed net deck this with a couple of changes. Someone proposed that, okay, so you are using 2 Stealth Breakers, Refractor and Switchblade, along with 6 Stealth cards, 3 Cloaks, 3 Silencers, and in my case, I'm using 1 Ghost Runner as backup. I'm up against a HB that, as you will see soon, is a fast advanced, your typical fast advanced HB. So these are 2 rather solid decks fighting against each other. The innovation in this deck comes from not the stealth itself. Stealth ND has been out for quite some time, and people do enjoy it and find that it's pretty effective, because Refractor does cover one major weakness in most criminal decks nowadays, and that is an efficient decoder. Refractor provides that easily. The big problem is what do you call it? Yes, the quality draw, which doesn't come easy in Criminal Faction. With Earthrise Hotel, it's much better, but why play Earthrise Hotel when it's so slow? Many people find that Earthrise Hotel is way too slow for criminals. If you're not using the supplier, if you're not planning to drag it out for the longer term, you're better off playing Quality Time, and that is why some people have proposed splashing for influence for Quality Time. So I did that right here with 2 Quality Times and 1 Earthrise Hotel. Alright, so jumping to the game, I have a very good opening hand, and one which I can install my fairy without having to reveal the silencer in my hand. So he doesn't know that I'm running a stealth deck. Then I attempt to face check his R&D, and I hit a very nasty ice. Usually face checking with a Sentry Breaker out is a safe thing to do, not against Grail Ice. That cost me my fairy, that cost me 2 cards from my hand. So I think he got pretty lucky there, finding 3 Grail Ice right off the bat in his opening turn. So that's very lucky for him, and as a result, I'm kind of screwed, because now that I know he's running Grail Ice, I must find all 3 breakers before I can start running. Now, he showed me a Galahad and a Lancelot in his hand when I hit the Merlin, so that's why I felt safe face checking all the other ice, knowing that he cannot hit me with 2 net damage. The only thing he can hit me with is a Trash Program subroutine, and then I continued running the rest of his servers, forcing him to rest ice. Now, there I make a big mistake. I shouldn't have used the inside job. He had 2 credits left after raising the next bronze. I should have let him go the next turn and contest the next bronze later. By expanding my inside job, I've given him a scoring window now, because the chance of me having an inside job now is very low, and because of that, as you can see right here, he takes advantage of this by scoring an agenda while he knows that I don't have an inside job. The ABT goes out, and now his HQ is fortified. So this is a very big mistake by me. I should have waited at least 1 turn for him to play other stuff. He wouldn't have been able to score the agenda that turn if it was an agenda, and it wasn't, it was just an Adonis, which I trashed promptly. So that's one big advantage of fast advanced HB, and especially when you use Grail Ice in conjunction, you really scare the runner into not running your servers. And in my case here, I wasn't able to assemble my rig fast enough. So it's good news that I actually managed to find my special order. After having 2 of my fairies trash, I need to find all 3 subtypes of breakers before I can even begin running his servers, which means that security test is nullified. I cannot run archives reliably. I mean, I can bring out a Corroder, but it's useless. It will cost 3 credits to break the Galahad, and getting 3 credits back is not worth it. So the other server that I can possibly security test is his remote, which is made up of just 1 next bronze. I'm playing Refractor, and currently it will only cost 1 credit to break next bronze, 1 credit which can be a stealth credit. So definitely a worthy play to special order the Refractor, install it, and make a security testing run turn after turn on the remote, but I chose not to. What I really need now is to just massively dig through my deck until I find all 3 breakers. The problem with this deck is that it only runs 1 of each breaker, so finding it is a problem. I have 3 special orders, so that should help. Meanwhile, I continue accumulating credits with KT Jones. Now on the forums, where I necked this from the Stimhack forums, they mentioned that 3 security testings and 3 KT Jones are a must, even though duplicate copies are redundant, and I agree with that. Because as you see in this game right here, I'm locked out of his server, so security testing is a no-go. I need the KT Jones to sustain my economy. Without her, I would be nothing. So had I not seen this KT Jones, I would not be able to make this run on the server right now. Special order into Refractor into KT Jones unload into a Dirty Laundry run on an Adonis. He wasn't trying to be sneaky, he wasn't sneaking an agenda out. Unfortunately for me, this means that my run comes up short once again. Notice that I still haven't contested his central servers at all. I can't afford to do so because I don't have the correct breakers out, and I definitely cannot afford to face check Grail Ice. I only have 1 of each breaker. If any of them gets trashed, I may as well concede the game because I don't run clone chips. That is another big problem with this deck. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough influence to run clone chips in this deck. Unless I want to give up my R&D interface or my quality times, both of which are massive enablers that you require for consistency. So as he continues building up his central servers and his remote, I continue digging through my deck. It's down to a third of its original size, and I'm still short of 2 breakers. Yes, that means that 2 special orders, the Corroder and the Switchblade, are all hiding in my R&D. Now you know why I'm so pissed off. In the meantime, he attempts to score an agenda in the remote. I know that I cannot contest it. My 1 inside job has been used up. I find the special order. Now I can attempt to contest it, but if I guess wrongly, again, I can just concede the game. So, better play safe than to be completely locked out for the rest of the game. I play the Corroder, but I do not run his server. I really cannot afford to. Instead, I run his Galahad. That's the good thing about stealth credits. I can spend these stealth credits to pump up my Corroder. So instead of paying 3 credits for my pool, I'm only paying 1. And I get into archives and security tests. I gain my credits back. It's all good. Well, technically that was a mistake. I should have used KT Jones instead. KT Jones assures me of 3 credits. Security testing gives me less. This is something I'm going to learn from this game. KT Jones is better if there are no open remote servers, if you're playing against something other than Near Hub or Flatline Jinteki. Yes, and just now last turn you might have caught something. Octagon automatically uses silencer credits for Refractor, which shouldn't be the case. So be careful when you are playing any stealth deck on Octagon. Cards can use credits from the wrong sources, and that is quite a problem. It's better to manually deduct your credits instead, as I will do shortly after in a short while. Okay, so as you see, my hand is loaded with 3 account siphons because I know that that's going to be my only route to victory by threatening his HQ. But he has been very diligent in making sure that his HQ is not siegeable. Yes, I perform a legwork run at this time, figuring that he is loaded with agendas in hand. I could do an account siphon. Either works. I know that I can get through his server for sure. Knowing that there's only 1 unrest ice, the worst I can do is to expand my ferry. The main problem with siphoning at this point in time is that I cannot clear tags, which means if he has an account siphon, I'm going to really regret it. So I decided to go for the legwork instead. I know that there are probably agendas in there. I see a Lancelot, a Merlin, and a Vitruvius, which I score. Fantastic. So the game is bouncing back in my favor. And to make things worse for him, I'm going to emergency shut down the Merlin. Big mistake. Never emergency shut down the ice on HQ, because that will nullify your account siphon. Yep, that's a big mistake. If I attempt to account siphon him right now, he'll just res the Merlin. He's at 6 credits, he reses the Merlin, he'll be down to 0, the account siphon will be unsuccessful. So I cannot siphon him. So yeah, this is very poor planning. I should have de-res the Merlin on R&D. Or de-res the next bronze so that on the remote, so that if he reses another next ice, it won't be so taxing. As you see here, he reses a 3rd next bronze, so now all the bronzes are at 3 strength, which is very unwieldy for my Refractor. I need to spend both my cloak credits in order to get past the next bronze, which, yeah, is a huge problem. And I guess that is another weakness of the deck, although it usually doesn't matter. If you stack high strength code gates on each other, this deck cannot cope with it. You can notice that I only have 5 memory slots, which means that even though I run 3 cloaks, only 2 of them can be on the table at any one time. And as such, yeah, if you stack 3 Tobus on top of each other, I won't be able to get past. If you stack 3 next bronzes on each other, I'm dead as well. But by right, I should be able to end the game before that occurs. So usually it's not a problem. Alright, the fourth last card in my deck turns out to be the Switchblade that I needed. I had to dig through 40 other cards in my deck just to find my Sentry Breaker. I mean, it doesn't matter now that I have my third fairy on the board, but this is why I was so pissed off with this game. I spent so many turns digging up for my entire rig. Now I can finally safely run, but it's way too late against HP. Economy, monstrous powerhouse with a Gila Hands, doesn't help matters. All servers have at least 3 eyes in them. Remote is the most taxing because it requires both stealth credits. It's just ugly all around. I mean, it looks bad for the HP player because I can siege any one of his servers at will. The problem is, now that I've performed the account siphon, I've decided to go all in on the tag me mode. Thinking that I have 2 account siphons in my hand, I can hold it out for a while, hopefully long enough to get the last few agendas. He does the right thing here. He trashes the KD Jones since I'm tag floating. That's fine by me, because this means that he's down to 1 credit. I can safely run Archives without worrying about Next Ice or Grail Ice. As long as he has less than 2 credits, I'm good to go. So he cannot res anything. I'm going to security test. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure why I did this. Oh no, I ran Archives without security testing. Yes, that's right. Because he's got 2 ABTs and he triggered both of them. And turns out that of the cards that he milled, 2 of them were NAPDs. I could only steal 1 of them. So for my remainder of the clicks, I had to click for credits. That's how pathetic I was. I had to click for credits. You heard that right. Yeah. I quickly realized I'm quite screwed now. Even though I have so many recurring credits, I can't really make too much use of them when I have so few credits in my credit pool. KD Jones is quite a cornerstone of this deck, and losing her was a huge deal. Account Siphon can help a bit, but as you see right here, the moment he hits 5 credits, he can res Eve Campaign, nullifying Account Siphon. Well, so I guess I'll just access HQ, see a Lancelot, and life goes on. But now I'm so poor that I can't do anything. He can slot an agenda in the remote. I can't really do much about it. Instead, he slots in an upgrade, what seems to be an Ash. Well, so be it. He will probably be richer than me very soon, and I cannot contest that remote. An Ash remote is impossible to contest because I need to run it twice to score the agenda in there. And I can't run it twice in 1 turn with my limitation of cloak credits. So putting an Ash there is a very smart thing to do. Turns out it wasn't an Ash, it was a Sensitivity Grid, and he wins the next turn. So as you can see, HP Fast Advance is still a thing, and it is a very valid deck. He showed just how powerful it was, and he piloted it to perfection against my deck. Kudos to my opponent for that. Yeah, it's very weird seeing Grail Ice in Engineering the Future. You ask yourself, why not use Foundry instead? And sure enough, Foundry is probably a better choice, but there's no doubt that his HP economy was a huge reason why he won the game. He was able to recover from my siphons quickly, and he got, because of the drip credits, he was able to score the Gila Hands, which led to even more credits and him protecting his servers even more. So that's something not to be underestimated, the sheer economic power of HP. Whether you want to spend your influence on Grail Ice instead of other stuff like a third Sensitivity Grid, like I don't know, other utility cards, that is up for debate, but he showed that it's very effective right here. It forced me into such a terrible position. I had to play on the defensive for basically the entire early to mid game, just because I couldn't find the last of my 3 breakers. That's so stupid. And yeah, boils back down to the inconsistency of this deck. I mean, the chance of this happening is quite low, but it is really annoying to play this deck and find that your last breaker is at the bottom of your deck. You can't do anything about it. That just sucks. All three breakers, I had to use all three special orders to get them. That's how annoying it was. Well, let's move on, I guess. It's good to experiment with decks like that every once in a while. Shouldn't get too worked out about it. Thanks for tolerating this little rant, and hope you enjoyed the video.